Hello, Tomu, you Kentucky fried fuck. Welcome to your deck review. I did find the Ko-Fi file you attached this time. I went back through. I read this 3 times to make sure I understood what you were asking for. I looked up what an OVA was. I looked up the Scary Chimera plan in general. I am prepared for this one, you rat bastard. So for those of you who are unaware of what's going on, welcome to Maulhound's Deck Reviews. This is a series where I, known yeller and hater, normally, not this time, calmly and politely look at your deck's PP. What we are looking at for Tomu is a Slayer's Special Precon. So this is a deck they are attempting to design to play with their friends who play mostly unmodified precons to show off an anime they enjoy. They have shown this deck before when Kefka was in the command zone, and I accused them of both scaring the hoes and taking broad artistic liberties with their card redesigns. Every card in this deck has a custom art from the Slayer's OVA. So I applaud your effort. Um, Circling back to the PP here. The PP is your premise and your practicum. Your premise is the idea behind your deck. In this case, for Tomu, it's making me angry. Your practicum is the cards you put in the 99, whether or not they achieve it. So for this deck, we don't care too much about getting highly efficient. Tomu knows how to build efficient decks. So far, the problem has been they build decks that are too efficient and they just win too quickly. And they, their friends are playing out of the box precons that they maybe like swapped one fun card they pulled into. So we don't need to go very hard. What we need to do is we need to craft a vibe that works very, very, very well. And I believe you said the dream is to have a deck that plays so cool that people go, oh my god, Tomu, that deck's so awesome. Can I see the list? This anime looks so dope. Do you have anywhere I could watch it? Do you have DVDs? I enjoy these wizards and their orbs. So I do think we can get there with the freedom that Bracket 2 affords us. Now, I do want to bring up another potential issue in the command zone. I know I did this last time with Kefka, and Kefka's in the 99, so they're much less of a problem. Like, this is not the Game Ruiner 9000, but I do think it is going to be tough to elicit a reaction of amaze, amaze, amaze from a commander where we're just randomly throwing around some damage. It's possible, but it's going to be tricky because what's going to meet, sorry, tripping over my words. What's going to happen if our commander is just randomly throwing around a ton of damage is we can't really politic. And because we can't politic, we can't have a ton of alliances. There are going to be, maybe this isn't true for your friend group, but I am reporting from the front with what I have seen when people play Vile Smasher the Fierce in pods with people they don't know. I have played against a number of people who have had a cool Vile Smasher the Fierce deck, and what consistently happens is at least one individual at the table, definitely not me, their pettiness towards getting hit with a big Vile Smasher damage thing totally overtakes appreciating whatever else the deck is about. Now, having read what the Super Chimera OVA for Slayers is about, I think this is appropriate. I think this is an appropriate representation of the mad scientist's goal. And it would be like the eventual endpoint if I have 10 Super Chimeras and they are blowing up the world because they cast one spell. I think that is cool. I worry that the journey to that is not as cool. And with Commander, the destination almost never matters. Like, the destination is, it's so luck based, it's so political based. You have very, very little control over it. We have much more control over the journey. And so the first thing I would probably look at is, are there any other commanders where I can get something that is just as cool and just as over the top at the end point? If I'm able to clone them. What a card art. Wow. What? Never mind. You're definitely going to be able to get people interested in this anime when you show them these cards. But I think if we could pick something where the journey seemed more like you were driving the car, that is where we would get a little bit more success. So let's go. I think is partner is probably a Scryfall syntax that will work. Is partner. True? Yeah. Kind of, yeah. And I'm gonna try to keep Grixis. I don't think we have to be Grixis, but I think it will be the easiest way to talk about the rest of this deck if we're able to keep it in Grixis. All right, Ikra Shiriki is a Naga, and that would go beat down. Move out of Grixis. Um, I'm mostly capping. I do think there's something here. I think the other thing, particularly with precons and particularly with people who play unmodified precons, they usually do much more of like, with being able to put a really big thing on the board rather than being able to put a really big thing on the stack. And this is again, I am making worst case assumptions about the people you are playing against. It may be that they are more receptive to the deck than I am imagining them. I'm imagining the person who is not very receptive, who is highly involved in their own deck, tends to check out on other players' turns. If you are playing against those people ever, this deck will fall completely flat. And if you're playing against somebody kind of in the middle who they don't totally check out, but they don't really want to track everything you're doing, they just kind of want to know the big headlines, stuff that puts like a lot of damage on board or a lot of creatures on board typically get more of the like, oh my god, how did you do that reaction than just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna deal 50 damage to you. How is it? You're dead now. So I think there's more here than just ha 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 snake. Uh Holy fuck, do we not want breaches? I don't think we want a bird. There's our boy Vile Smasher. Prom would just draw you a million cards. I don't really think that's worth it. I see no way to push the War Doctor into this game plan. Dargo is also not really it. We're not about to make a Ninja Turtles deck. Ooh-wee. We're not about to be making journals and shit. Fuck that. This would be board control. We don't want to do a clue flicker plan. That's just nothing. Friends forever, not partner. This is a specific partner. Okay, Ludovic can kind of draw some cards, but it's also group huggy. Owie zowie, this mechanic sucks. Okay, so I think. Alright, then I think Vile Smash of the Fierce is probably going to have to stay in our command zone, and we'll just treat it as inevitability. I think the only thing I would think of then is we need cool stuff in the 99 we can choose to clone instead of the Super Chimera. To go for these big commandery things that people will be like, oh, that's so fucked up. Like, I'm. Like, if there's anything in the Slayer's OVA that can be Combustion Man, that's what I would think of. Like, you tell somebody like, oh, because I cast one spell, I'm gonna roll 10 dice, and then I'll tell you how the damage shakes out. And it's like 4 at a time every time. Versus you tell an unmodified precon player, okay, I have 10 of these guys, right? I'm gonna swing them at you. You can take 40 damage, or I detonate all of your belongings. God forbid you pump your board, right? So there's these big on board over the top interactions that I think we would care about a little bit more. Run all the way card draw. Sure. Sure. Okay. Yeah, okay. And then here's the other Kefka copy. Yeah, that seems fine. We're not really dealing combat damage, but that level of confusion is sort of normal for precons. I think Professor Lena works quite good. This, you have said, it goes in every blue deck, even if it makes no fucking sense. I don't think it makes sense here, but that is fine. Ancient Stone Idol. Okay. Really bad, but that's fine. We can just mog people with golems. Yeah, Laughing Mad. Hmm. Hmm. This one's tough because I know what this is now. Unfortunately, I know what this is referencing in the OVA, and it makes total sense for the flavor of the deck. It is a totally useless mechanic. Like, we can't copy the spell at all. We can't recur the spell. We're never gonna mill anybody out. So this, even for ha 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 ha, it's a precon. This one seems like a bridge too far, and I'm trying to think of what we could do that would assist that. I wonder if there's a different Rixus commander that we can use. Huh? Huh? Okay, we get some stuff down here. Orcs, Azula, Dethrone. Yeah, nothing's really calling out to me instantly. It might, like, Cormella Glamour Thief might be able to do something, because then you could cast all the, like, big, juicy, crazy instants and sorceries. Like, I know Elk has a very, very funny Cormella Glamour Thief deck that's bracket 3 that could be easily toned down to bracket 2. Let me pause for a second and reread the thesis statement here to make sure I'm on track about what we need to fix. Okay. I am now back from being zip bombed. So I'm trying to think of how we make this compelling. So I'm gonna air drum really badly because I've never done actual drumming. I just need something to do with my hands. You talked about fire magic being appropriate because Lena, the genius sorceress, uses fire magic all the time. What I'm thinking of is that we're sleeping on the thought of copying instants and sorceries. Like, we're doing the creature copying plan, which is good. I think it feels the best, as you said, when there is a secondary clone target that is better than Vile Smasher. I do think there's a lot of value with having Sakashima in the command zone, but I am thinking more and more about having Cormella and having the deck just be like big haymaker fire magic or big haymaker copying. Because if we make a ton of Cormellas, what that opens us up to is uh the crackle with power gets better. If we could find if we could find an allegory for torment of hailfire, if we can find an allegory for exsanguinate, it lets us do more stuff that is, I have a lot of thing on board. A lot of thing on board. Make big thing. Many damage. You die, which is the type of stuff that precon players really, really eat up. And it still works with keeping a fair amount of this ramp, but it lets us turn more of the ramp into um instants and sorceries, because right now we don't have, yeah, we don't have realm sketching, we don't have flash photography, we don't have rite of replication, I don't think. Now, if because you're being honest to the OVA, you're only allowing yourself 10 clone spells, I think that would be a misstep in terms of theme, but I could see why you would do it. I still think there's some swaps you could make where, because then we could get like Twinning Staff, very, very precon coded card. Um, and we would care a lot about copying big. God, Resonating Loot could go in the deck. I don't think Platinum Angel could. I don't think this Chandra would go in. But yeah, like, this is how you get Fireball, is you have 8 Cormellas on the field. Um, Oh, but like copying Brass's bounty like 4 times. Are there any otters? Are there any otters in this fucking series? So the stuff we would be looking at that we would then have to try to fit into this thing would be like cursed recording. I'm trying to think of not very quick, not very quick. Maybe cursed recording could be like every screen is Naga laughing. That would be psychic damage. I'm trying to think of like stuff we could lay on the table that people could read and go, oh, that's going to do something big and probably really bad to me. Vile Smash of the Fierce just doesn't read very cleanly as that to me. It just reads as like, oh, a lot of stuff is going on over there. I'll just let them tell me what's going to happen. Versus if you lay down, where was it? Please. If you lay down Cursed Recording, if you lay down, I think Pyromancer's Goggles is another one. Are there any other big hits? We don't really want Casualty. We don't. I would not recommend doing Thousand Year Storm. I would recommend Twinning Staff. If you can find an excuse for Jin Gataxis, definitely fucking do it. If there are any otters in this series, get Kitsa in there. Uh, Double Vision. Oh, that's a precon heater for sure. Oh man, alive. And then that lets it C double. Oh, come on. And then that lets us play more things that are either like direct burn spells, removal spells, or like fire magic based things that feel a little bit better. It makes chunky card draw feel a little bit better too, because we're gonna get 2 out of them rather than 1. Versus right now we have like a bunch of very responsible engines and then Shadow of the Second Sun. Like I'm trying to, we got to convert it to big crazy nonsense. And I think Formella in the command zone, instant and sorcery based cloning of both creatures and non creature things. And I try to make a ton of copies to either copy a massive fireball. I can do responsible things like copy a stock up. I can Rite of Replication, Ancient Stone Idol, and then I just goon you with 20 golems. And then, right. And then that makes Tasha's Hideous Laughter not the worst spell ever invented. Because if we can clone something like 20 fucking times, or when Cormella dies, we can get it back. Now, this spell that we are legal, I agree, you're legally mandated to run it. Now, it can have a way of like, oh my god, it will actually make them black out from mental anguish. Okay, you have to do it now. I They may now want to watch the show if you kill them with mill, but you have to do it now because if you copy this 10 times, you will definitely exile everybody's deck and they will that's bimbofication. You hit them with the bimbofication ray. It's perfect. It's dead ass perfect. So I'm so sorry to send you back to not necessarily the entire drawing board, but I would I would move away from some of this like chunky ramp that you were on the first time, like the Stone Speaker crystals. And once you got Cormella out, I would be doing like, okay, I'm gonna realm sketching, get a new Cormella, or I'm gonna realm sketching, get a new Worn Power Stone, get a new Arcane Signet, get a new land, etc., 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 or copy my opponent's mana dork even. And then I'm going to clone my commander non-legendary style. That's actually perfect. All the good clone targets are deeper in the deck, and your commander, we're not going to break legend rule on, so we can get our clone spells back, so we can keep cloning, or we can keep stocking up, or we can keep like, please don't do this multiple times, but we can get the other like big flashy shit. Yeah, like Volcanic Offering. Oh, we could do a lot of crazy, stupid dog shit here. And then I think that lets you bring more fire magic in. You can use more fire magic than pure counter spells. You can let people play stuff and be like, play gifts of super hot fire, or learn super hot fire taglines and yell them as you cast delayed blast fireball, as you cast like shell shock, maybe even lightning bolt would work. Um, Iroh's demonstration. I don't know the names of all the fire spells, but I know there's plenty of fire spells and there's an art tag you can work with. But that would be the copy angle that I think ties all of these together and is very pre-con coded. Is we do a little bit of greedy doubling and we make it kind of like an Alania deck, and then you can have more of this like value shit like Brass's Bounty. We have a way to make Fireball a win con. We have, this is not cast or copy, this is just cast, which is a damn shame. But I do think it ties the whole thing together better. It gives you a way to get big, impressive on-board shit, or like you point to 3 things on your board and then go, and that means I get to hit you with the sun. Instead of it being, okay, I'm going to nickel and dime you at random 87 times, or I'm going to hope and pray for the day I get to play Kefka. So if anybody in the comments has a different idea of how we could achieve this in a way that is fun and flashy and pre-con acceptable, let me know. Otherwise, I wish you the best, Tomu, and I do hope this helped.